राम 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 हरे हरे। राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, 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 राधा गोविंद गौर हरि। राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि। गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि, गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि। जय राधा माधव गौर हरि, राधा माधव गौर हरि बोलो, राधा माधव गौर हरि, राधा माधव गौर हरि। जय राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा राधा गोविंद बोलो, गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि, गौर हरि, गौर हरि बोलो, गौर हरि बोलो, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि, राधा गोविंद गौर हरि बोलो, राधा जय जय निताय सचिनंदन भगवान की जय। जय जय निताय सचिनंदन भगवान की जय। जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल।
Thank you, Mataji. Which way? This way? Yes. Hello? Yep. Okay. So what do I need to do? Directly put the USB. There it is. Prabhu? I want to display Veda base first, but it's like going to the slide. Can you remove this one? So this is switch monitor, right? You press something. What? You switch monitors, right? I didn't switch anything. I don't know. Do you know how to fix it? I want to show. Command F1. F1 will not be there. F1 is just a brightness. That's
Command F1.
Yep, that's.
Thank you. I've learned the Mac.
Hare Krishna. Sorry for keeping you all waiting. Is it okay if we close that door? That one? It's just a lot of. So this month is, the month for Gita Jayanti. I think it's better. Yeah, it got better. So it's the advent of, the Bhagavata. So I wanted to pick two verses, and I'll go through them, the reading relatively fast, but then kind of like how to apply it in our own lives. Okay? Pretty famous verses. Is this visible, or is that just too small? A little small? Is that okay? Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Ita Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Shri Shunyavadi Pashtatai Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Dvaita Gadda Shivasati Gaur Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So as we know, how many of you have looked at the Gita before, or I should rather say, how many have not seen the Gita? So I think everybody here is familiar, right? So Gita has 18 chapters, and I'll just read 2 verses from 18.72. So the 72nd verse in the 18th chapter. Kachad etat shrutam partha tvaya eka agrena chetasa kachad agyan samaha pranashtaste dhananjaya. Translation: O son of Parth, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? We can all repeat this together. O son of Parth, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord was acting as a spiritual master of Arjuna. Therefore it was his duty to inquire from Arjuna whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. If not, the Lord was ready to re-explain any point or the whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. Actually, anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master like Sri Krishna or his representative will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or from his bona fide spiritual representative is sure to become a liberated person and get out of darkness of ignorance. May I humbly request devotees to kind of come forward so that it becomes a little bit more intimate. Otherwise, I'm looking through a sea of green place, mats, and devotees sitting all the way back there. That's nice. So, O son of Parth, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So that's the first verse. And the continuity of that verse is, so Sri Krishna Bhagavan is asking Arjuna something. And we'll come back to the purport. And then the next is, Arjuna Vacha Nasta Mohan Smriti Lapta Tvat Prasada Maya Chita Sthavasmi Gata Sandeha Karisha Shri Vachanam Tvam. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. So let's repeat. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I've regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjuna is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self-discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the actual position of the living entity is that of the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature. But in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of God. The living entities, please note the juxtaposition of the two words, liberated servant. That sounds almost contradictory. Liberated servant. The living entity's constitutional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition. But if he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. In illusion, the living entity is serving in this material world. He is bound by his lust and desires, yet he thinks of himself as the master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya is to trap the living entity, is the proposition that he is God. The living entity thinks that he's no longer a conditioned soul, but God. He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, then how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. That is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act according to his order. Om Agyantam Arandasya Jananjala Shakaya Chakshuranmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guru Manaha. Shri Shinitai Sacinandana Dev Ki Jai, Shri Lakshmi Narasimhadev Bhagwan Ki Jai. Okay. Yes.
When Arjuna says he regains his memories, what exactly?
I'll come to that. Okay. Well, I'm not able to do what I need to do here. Broker Bro, do you know the process here? I want to switch to PowerPoint, but I'm not getting that option to see it.
So, where is your PowerPoint?
It's on my laptop.
How do you see on your window?
There, here, I got it. Let's see. Okay, but I can't see it here now.
Okay. Yes, you just have to click. Move your mouse on the other side. One second.
Should I unplug it and plug it
No.
in?
Command F1. Yeah. Now you can see it on both. It's
Okay.
behind you as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. So the question that I want to focus on is, how do we know Lord Krishna's will? How do we know Lord Krishna's will? So I will try to explain as I've understood from reading from Srila Prabhupada, the Acharyas, and from other elevated Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripo sindhabhyo cha hitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo namo namaha. Okay, so we just read this verse. Kaschid etat shrutam partha Tvaya eka agrina chetasa kachid agyan samaha panashtaste dhananjaya. O son of Parth, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? So some highlights that I pulled out from the purport or picked. The Lord was acting, Srila Prabhupada's purport, the Lord was acting as a spiritual master for Arjuna. Therefore, it was his duty to inquire whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. So it's the duty of a spiritual master, in this case, Lord is acting as Guru for Arjuna, to inquire from us, have we understood instructions correctly? Because we may have so many preconceptions of this and that, right? We come in with a lot of baggage into spiritual life also. So we can easily get lost. Anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master like Krishna or his representative will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. So that is a test of a guru-disciple relationship. Are my questions being addressed? Am I receiving some clarity in my life? Is my ignorance resolved? We'll come back a little bit to that. So it's not just having a bona fide a true spiritual master, it's also about being a true receiver too, right? The channel has to be open on both sides. It's not just a one-way communication. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fiction writer. It is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we must always remember that when we read the Gita. There'll be, Srila Prabhupada talks about in Srimad Bhagavatam, that there has to be a qualified speaker. And he mentions that somebody who's just coming in there from an intellectual, scholarly approach, that connection between that person and Krishna Bhagwan will not exist. And therefore, they can say the same verses, but the realization is different, and what they impart to you will be very different. Now the next verse, Arjuna Vacha, Nasta Mohan Smriti Labda Tvat Prasadan Mayachita Stito Asmi Gata Sandeha Karishashi Vachanam Tvam. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I've regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions. I'm sorry, I'm sure in the back that's really tiny. The subsequent slides have less wording on them, so they'll be more visible. So the highlights that I perceive from the purport. The living entity becomes conditioned by material nature. But in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of God. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. Supreme Lord is the Master who is full of knowledge. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. The Supreme Person of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. To study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Krishna factually. When Arjuna understood that it was Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Krishna's desire. So Krishna's desire, Krishna's will, Srila Prabhupada's mentioning this in his purport, and in his, if you look up the lectures he gave on this series of verses, it was, sounds like that door needs some WD-40 or something. That was a consistent message. So first, if we try to understand this, this is kind of like harmonizing, What Arjuna is doing is harmonizing his will, his desire with Krishna's will and desire. Now we know, the Bhagavad Gita is clear that Dhritarashtra also heard, correct? He heard through Sanjay, who was able to here through the mercy of Vyasadeva. We know that Dhritarashtra, when he was born, he was blind. And throughout the Gita, the blindness, darkness is a symbol for what? Ignorance. So his blindness was his attachment. That's why the same message was given to him that was given to Arjun. But the outcome was very different between the two of them. Because Arjun's temporary blindness was of a different nature. But his attachment was to Krishna. Dhritarashtra's blindness was also due to attachment, but attachment was to his sons and his position. And so he could not listen to everything that Krishna had to say and absorb it in his heart. That heart is steel framed, which cannot have the words of Krishna penetrating into it. Now, what happened? We're discussing this in our morning Bhagavatam sessions of chapter 15, canto 1, not chapter 15, chapter 13. Dhritarashtra had to lose everything. His sons died. Everything that he cared about, lost. Kingdom essentially gone, lost the battle. Being kept, on the throne, but being symbolic. How even you see that in some countries where there's the prime minister, but there's the head of the military, and that head of the military is a real controller. The minister is just kind of like a face for the government, but he's a puppet, right? That's what they say. Dhritarashtra had to lose everything before he lost his blindness. Because when he lost everything, who came? Vidur. Vidur came. And Vidur explained to him. And then his blindness went away and he saw what is going on here. Physically he didn't lose his blindness, but his attachments were not dissolved. And then he was prepared to act. So, we come into spiritual life, into our material life with a lot of attachments, right? We have attachment to family, friends, country, society, conceptions, position, power, fame, whatever. So Gita, as most of you who have read Gita can see that there's profound philosophy. It's Upanishadic. And there are many, many ways to analyze each verse and each sentence. And the acharyas have, if you look at the four sampradayas, the acharyas have given profound philosophical discussions on each verse and each word. So there's a lot of philosophy in Gita, but ultimately it's a call to action. It's a call to action, right? Gita was spoken in a battlefield. It wasn't spoken in a yoga studio or an ashram. So in a battlefield, there's activity, right? People don't go there for doing, some asanas of, standing on my head or the cobra posture. They're getting ready to do something serious. So Sri Arjun informs Sri Bhagavan Krishna that I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. So that's action, right? He heard a lot of different pathways of yoga, etc. But then he says, I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. So this is a voluntarily, the reason I use the word harmonization is agreeing to act according to Krishna's will is harmonization. Srila Prabhupada would sometimes call it dovetailing of our human will into the divine will of Sri Krishna Bhagavan. And it is for that purpose that Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So what is a fundamental question we should ask ourselves? Amidst all of our problems, our frailties, our weaknesses, our opportunities, how can I do Krishna's will? If we don't ask ourselves that, then the message of Gita is, lost on us. Are you guys following me? Okay. Can you see this? The words in the back? Some people I heard no, and some people I heard yeah. Yeah. If I zoom this up, it's going to, I think, pull out of there. But I'm reading off of it. So I need to turn this. I'm on an emergency call, so I can't just silence my phone. So generally, surrender is considered like a passive thing, right? Like when an army surrenders to an invading army, they give up their weapon, they lay down their weapons and they say, I surrender. I stop my activity, right? It's a passive thing. But surrender is, in the Gita, is not just acceptance, but also action. And Bhagavad Gita, in these concluding verses, and Arjuna's response, demonstrates this aspect of surrender. Because Sri Krishna urges surrender, and Sri Arjuna affirms it, declaring that he's ready to apply Krishna's will. So our acceptance of a circumstance could be unchanged because circumstances may be unchangeable, I'm blind, I'm born without vision. What can I do? I have to kind of accept it. So on my part, there has to be some acceptance, but there should be action to carry out our duty as per Sri Krishna Bhagavan's instructions. Not temporary duty based on, I'm this and that. That's important too. But my Sanatana Dharma. So we oftentimes understand things from our perspective. But in a relationship, there are two people, right? So let's try to understand it from Krishna's perspective. Because even if circumstances may have been better to serve Krishna better in our life, Krishna's primary concern is not the quality of the result of our activity, but the quality of our consciousness in doing that activity. A lot of times people who do serious japa, I'm looking at Sarva Shakti Mataji, and others, when you ask them, like, how was it? They say, well, poor quality. But that's just looking at it from our perspective. Krishna is seeing the quality of our consciousness. So, what do we have under our control? We can improve, if not 180 degrees, but improve the quality of our consciousness by choosing to do what we can now. Now. Not when we are like some elevated acharyas, or have the perfect rounds, or when we have read the whole Bhagavad Gita backwards, forwards, every single word, and etc. It's what we choose to do now that counts. And by doing that, you go from passive surrender to active acceptance and action. Meaning we accept our circumstance and understand that there are baggage from our past lives. And they're ultimately authorized by Bhagavan. Everyone knows that in Shastras it says, not a blade of grass bends without Krishna's will. So why is my circumstance not at some point being controlled by Krishna's will, being allowed by Krishna's will? Hare Krishna, Mataji. So we should look at sometimes things from Krishna's standpoint too, not just ours. When we chant japa, when we give class, when we do deity dressing, will Krishna be pleased? when I'm cooking? Is my consciousness the pleasure for Krishna's pleasure? When I'm chanting kirtan, am I doing it in a means of giving pleasure to Bhagavan? Right. And whatever our frailties may be, whatever our weaknesses may be, now, do now. Don't wait. Do whatever karma and guna have endowed you with, use it. Because as we've just been meditating on Damodara pastime for this entire last month, and a key feature is the mercy of Bhagavan. He is Lord at all times, as he showed to Mother Yashoda. Instantaneously, he went from the naughty child whose footprints could be seen to that same child whose belly was not bigger than the mortar and who could not be encompassed by her ribbon. When he saw her immediate call to action with perspiration and flowers dropping and using many, many ropes, Jiva Goswami says, the same band that bound Damodar. So if by Krishna's mercy, if we surrender and do Krishna's will, we may actually do much better than we thought possible under the circumstances. If we allow ourselves to do Krishna's will, whatever our capabilities, His will is greater. Some other pastime shows that. Being, Srila Prabhupada used to say Krishna is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. The 3 O's. Being omnipotent, Krishna can change the circumstances in inconceivable ways. I think we all as practicing devotees have seen that in our lives, right? He can change circumstances in inconceivable way, which initially looked like a tragedy, such and such happened, with a viewpoint of the rear view mirror of time becomes like, wow, that situation created an opportunity for me that was great. I should have clicked on this. Maybe that's better. Right? Imminent. Does anybody know what imminent means?
Present, immediate, current.
Yeah, imminent in philosophy. This word was used by a philosopher by the name of Immanuel Kant. Imminence, he coined the term imminence. Imminence means something transcendental, not visible to our eyes, becoming present within the material world. So, Sri Krishna Bhagavan can, even though he's always residing in Golok Vrindavan, can from within our heart give us, ideas that we never could have thought of on our own. Have you noticed that? You're reading Shastra and then all of a sudden, like the curtain parts, and you see something that you had just read over so many times. You're hearing the chanting of the holy name, and then you become absorbed in some aspect of it that you ignored. They want their mother. That's nice. Is she here? She's there, okay. And even if none of this happens, even if Krishna doesn't give us clear direction in our heart or doesn't change our circumstance, the act of surrender itself, being an act of subordinating my will to Krishna's will, is a huge part of our progress. It's a huge leap in our progress. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So even if we don't feel the presence, even if the circumstances don't change, the act of willingly surrendering to Krishna's will and circumstance is an act or demonstration of our surrender to Krishna. And it's very powerful. You can see this in the passing of Draupadi, right? I'm 100% sure she wished that circumstance never had occurred, the gambling match. And I'm 100% sure she, was contemplating that all these people could change, these powerful personalities could change the circumstance, but that didn't happen. So what did she do? Hey Govinda. So what should be our request from Bhagavan Krishna? Arjuna at the end didn't ask Krishna to perform some miracle and remove some obstacles. Make this battle go away, make my family and everybody else, stop disturbing me. Just give me a tiny 1 acre lot of land up to build my house, my duplex. Instead, we see from 18.73, he says, I'm prepared to act according to your will. And this demonstrates a different point of view. Some people approach spirituality or religion through a materialistic point of view. We see Krishna as a source of blessings, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj called it a hazy concept of gratitude to a universal order supplier. Because we approach him not for who he is, but for what he can give us. We expect him to solve our problems, just make them go away and satisfy our desires. But Krishna explains to Arjuna that this material world is temporary, impermanence, right? Impermanence. That whatever relief we get in the material world will be short-lived, because desires and problems are endless in the material world. So that's the material point of view, where we're seeking what Krishna can give us. We're not seeking him. And you see that in the pastime of Krishna when he came as a peacemaker to Duryodhana, and Duryodhana tried to please him, but Krishna rejected it, and Vidur's wife tried to please him, and Krishna accepted that. Because Duryodhana was looking at, Krishna can give me the army. And Vidur's wife was just thinking, Krishna's in my home. My life's desires fulfilled. But from a spiritual point of view, from a bhakti point of view, we see Krishna as an object of our love. Not as a wish-fulfilling chintamani gem, but an object of our love. We approach him not for we approach him for who he is, not what he gives. I was hearing a very nice lecture on, you may have heard about Vritsura, right? Vritasura. It's a mystical Bhagavatam story about a demon, a devotee born as a demon because of a prior curse. And because he's a demon, he engages in battle with the devas, Indradev in particular. And because he's endowed with tremendous power, he cannot easily be killed. And so he's advising Indradev, no, chop me this way, chop me this way, this way. And ultimately, Bhagavan allows Indradev to kill him. So somebody may look back and say, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, gave Indradev the heavenly kingdom. This is like the pastime of Bali Maharaj too, right? But what happened to Vritasura? He got killed. What happened to Bali Maharaj? He got pushed into the hellish planets. But what did Krishna give? Krishna gave him, to Indradev, in both circumstances, he gave heaven. To Bali Maharaj and Vritasura, he gave himself. He gave himself. So, by not being attached to our desire, material desire, we actually allow Krishna's entrance into our heart. Because if we have all sorts of things in our heart, there's no space for anything else. That's why children learn so rapidly when they're little, because their heart is like a clean field. And adults, try to learn a language when you're 70 years old. So, our request from Krishna is to reveal himself within our heart. Not to make the problems go away and the circumstances better. So what should I do in difficult situations? So Arjuna is there and Krishna is there. What should I do when I don't know what is Krishna's will, right? That happens. We have sometimes situations where we may have two decisions we can make, and they intellectually they sound okay. But what do I do if I don't know what is Krishna's will? I accept that I should do Krishna's will. But what if I don't know what is Krishna's will? So you see this sometimes. Amongst people in positions of power. I'll give you an example. Once a devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you have so many responsibilities, so many tasks, administering, ISKCON throughout the world and making the movement grow in the world. And Srila Prabhupada said, I only see opportunity to serve my spiritual master. So outside, confusion and challenge, but internal connection. So shift our vision from the outer world to the inner world. Because that's what Krishna wants ultimately, It's Krishna conscious. It's becoming conscious of him with love. Bhakti has to be loving. We know that. So that's internal, and externally, like Srila Prabhupada understood, he wants us to serve the world through service of him. So internally, try to raise our devotional consciousness by having. I was reading something very wonderful in Damodar Leela, that before devotion comes emotion. Before devotion comes emotion. Damodar Leela is full of emotions, but those emotions give rise to devotion. So lovingly connect to Krishna within our heart. Like Arjuna so sweetly says throughout the Gita. And then do it in a mood of, and do the activity in a mood of service to Bhagavan. And the connector there is prayer. Prayer is expression in words of something that's deep in our heart. And it can connect us very powerfully. The Damodarastakam is a prayer. The Jagnashtakam is a prayer. Jagnashtakam is a prayer. So just chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is a prayer, connecting our inner to our outer. So practically, we should contemplate how, in our situation, how can we serve Krishna? I may be 85 years old and frail and this and that, but how can I serve Krishna? Krishna saw this. I was reading the Mahabharata a couple of days ago. specifically of Bhishma Stuti, where Bhishma Dev, lies on the ground full of arrows and says these beautiful prayers. And then I just happened to glance on a different section of Mahabharata which described the death of Abhimanyu, the son of the Pandavas, in that military formation where Abhimanyu, while in the womb of Subhadra, had heard Arjuna relating to Subhadra how to get into the military formation, but he failed to, he didn't hear the end, like how to get out of the problem. So Abhimanyu died in this, where the opposing army conspired to basically kill him in that situation. And as we can imagine, Sacinandana Sacinandana ki jai. And as we can imagine, Arjuna was grief-stricken, and the Mahabharata mentions that. Sacinandana Sacinandana Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagwan ki jai. So Mahabharata mentions that Arjuna is grief-stricken at the death of Abhimanyu. And so Sri Krishna speaks to him. So Arjuna can't change the circumstance, what happened. So he said, in this world, adversities befall both the wise and the unwise. What differentiates them is that the wise respond in ways that make things better. And this is, taking Sanskrit and creating it into English. Whereas the unwise react in ways that make things worse. If we don't know Krishna's will, positive and a negative. This will please Krishna. Desham satatam, right? Desham satatam yuktanam bhajata priti purvikam dadami bhudi yogantam yena mam payante te. It will, when we have that attitude and a mood of devotion, what can I do to uplift the situation? What can I avoid so that I don't make things worse? Then that's devotion. And by that mood, Krishna's will become clear. That's what happened to Arjuna. And what most devotees will know is that more we do Krishna's will in situations where his will is clear, like, okay, I should refrain from, I should refrain from gambling. I should refrain from drinking some alcohol or whatever it is. The more we make those simple, easy baby steps, the more Krishna will help us to understand in situations where his will is unclear. Because we're showing some active processes of surrender and accepting his will. So sometimes people wonder when they come into association with devotees that, so by this process, are we giving up our own will, our own independence? And we see that in our own lives. Most of us have relationships. We're married or we have kids, right? And, sorry, because of my delay, everything's getting delayed here. But love, we see in our own lives with our spouses that, right? Love sometimes involves giving up our will and doing the will of that object of our love, correct? In relationships, it goes both ways. That's why it's called a relationship. It's not a relation island, And when we do that, we find that we actually get greater fulfillment than if we simply did what was in our own will. You grow through that exercise, right? You grow through that exercise of compromise. And so, in our relationship with Bhagwan, Krishna, when we put aside our desires, material desires that are separate, and we try to connect with them, this idea of connection with Bhagwan, that makes our bond very strong. So when we do the little things where it's clear what the path should be, what Bhagwan would desire, it'll give us strength for the more difficult things. And then when we accept that my desire may be this, but clearly from Sadhu Shastra, Guru, instruction is this way. then when we do that, then that strengthens our bond. Because in a relationship, if the husband and wife don't love each other, then their free will very strongly cause distress and disturbance. And giving that up can feel like loss of independence. But when there's love, then that same giving up of some aspects of free will actually strengthen the relationship. Okay? So I wanted to end with this. The power of the Gita, right? I started by talking about what is the essential message of Gita. The essential message of Gita is a call to action by following Krishna's will. Following Krishna's will in simple little things, and then being in a position of giving up our will and trying to appreciate what can we do internally and externally to cultivate connection with Krishna. Sorry for the typo. Sri Krishna's will. I don't know why it came out. Kana's wills. Krishna's will. So Arjuna in Bhagavatam in chapter 15 of Canto 1, Kurukshetra battle is ended. The Pandavas are the kings. Arjuna goes to Dwarka. Krishna has left the planet. Arjuna comes back. And Arjuna says to Maharaj Yudhishthira, asked him, so what's the situation in the world? What about our great friend and well-wisher, Sri Krishna, Bhagwan? Arjuna said, O king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, who treated me exactly like an intimate friend, has left me alone. Hare Krishna. I have just lost him, who would render all the universes unfavorable and void like bodies without life. Like if you spent all his time in kingdom of everything he did in the end was to have union with Krishna, association with Krishna at the very end of his life. I have just lost him whose separation for a moment would render all the universes unfavorable and void like bodies without life. Is Arjuna's circumstance difficult? Yes. Can he change it? No. So what does Arjuna eventually say? He expresses his grief because that's natural. Along the end of the chapter he says, now I'm attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the personality of Godhead, Govinda. What are those instructions called? The Bhagavad Gita. Because they're impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. I'm not saying this, Arjuna is saying this. Shukadeva Goswami is repeating this to Parikshit Maharaj, who's in a very difficult circumstance of death within 7 days. Srila Prabhupada's purport is very beautiful to this verse. He says, the merciful Lord left behind him the great teachings of the Bhagavad Gita so that one can take the instructions of the Lord even when he's not visible to the material eyesight. Now, you will notice in this verse interchanging of senses. Vision, hearing, reading, remembering. Okay? Material senses cannot have any estimation of the Supreme Lord, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned souls in a suitable manner through the agency of matter. He's talking about, he mentions this in Bhagavatam as well, at the end of chapter 1, where there's, Srila Prabhupada says it in his purport, where he interchanges from Shukdev Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, Sutta Goswami speaking to the sadhus in Amersharanya, to saying, reading this Bhagavatam will have the same effect. So it goes from hearing to reading. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. By his inconceivable power, the Lord can incarnate himself to the sense perception of the conditioned soul, the hearing and the reading. in a suitable manner through the agency of matter, right, our material senses, which is another form of Lord's manifested energy. Thus, Bhagavad Gita or any authentic scriptural sound representation of the Lord is also the incarnation of the Lord. There's no difference between the sound representation of the Lord and the Lord Himself. One can derive the same benefit from Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna did in the personal presence of the Lord. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Thank you. I'm sorry I'm getting this and you guys are getting from distance, but it's the purity of the receiver that receives the mercy. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're sitting in His divine presence, hearing and speaking. When we follow what is in the books, that's when we get realizations. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Even Vyasadeva sat at Shukadev Goswami's lecture to Parikshit Maharaj. He's the original author, but he's not the original author. The author is the breath of Lord Vishnu. Thank you very much. Questions, comments? I think let's. Any very quick question? Okay. Yes. Hare Krishna.
So I recently was upset with my mother.
You were what?
I was upset with my mother.
Yes.
And your reading since I've been here has kind of touched on that whole. I couldn't imagine a worse kind of anger. Mostly because my worldview kind of stems from the godmother.
Yes.
You know, and I didn't ever think that being upset with my mother would it's very intertwined. It's almost like I'm upset at godmother or God itself.
Right.
I was just wondering if you had any suggestions, because I'm out of suggestions. It has ruined. I cannot enjoy any one thing as long as this anger remains seated. My mind and my heart have let go, but my emotions are just like rattled up, and I don't know what to do anymore. I'm not even angry anymore. You know, but it's sitting there, and it's I'm not sure what to do. I just thought.
Okay. Let's. You have a unique situation. We can talk about it after the session. I think it deserves more than just a quick answer, you know, because I can hear your pain, and I can also hear your realization, and I'm hearing your connection with God. So I think those are all good foundational principles. But how to, you know, move forward, we can talk about that separately because it's a kind of a unique problem that you're facing. Is that okay? Okay. Anything else? Something quicker? Okay. Okay. Nice to see all of you. I'm glad everyone is here for the arati and the chanting the holy name. So if we can put the mats away, I'll disconnect. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And if you can put the mats away, and then we'll have stand-up kirtan. Thank you very much.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमस्ते निर्विशेष शून्यवादी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरि बोल गौर हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण राम हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hari Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hari Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare Gaura Sacinandana Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare Sacinandana Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare Gaura Hare Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Nitai Gaura Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Hare Bol Jayo Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jayo Jaya Gurudev 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 Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare, Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare. Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare, Nitya Sacinandana Gaura Hare, Nitya Sacinandana Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol. Gaur Premanande. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की नितलपस जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाज का आचार्य अष्टोत्तर सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत श्री ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद जी महाराज की जय श्री लसदन ठाकुर भक्त ठाकुर की जय षड गोस्वामी प्रभुगण की जय प्रेम से को जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री निताय सचिनंदन भगवान की जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय श्री गौर हरि भगवान की जय श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम भगवान की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय इस्कन वर्तमान आचार्य गुरु वृंद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम भगवान की जय श्री श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जगन्नाथ बलभद्र सुभद्रा महारानी की जय चक्कर संजीव की जय इस्कन पोर्टलैंड समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल all Gaurish Dasmul Hare Krishna, all Gaurish Dasmul Hare Krishna, all Gaurish Guru and Gauranga, all Gaurish Prabhupada ki.
Narasimhaya Namaste Narasimhaya Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye ito nasma parata nasma ito nasma parata nasma yato yato yamitato nasma yato yato yamitato nasma vahe nasma hridaye nasma vahe nasma hridaye nasma Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade Tava kara kamala varenakam adbhuta singam talita hiranyakashipu tanubringam kesavadrita narahari rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Badrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Kesavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimhadev, 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 Jaya Narasimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Onitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Prasad is doing okay. Hare Krishna. This shows a red light, so it's good. Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us. Shri Shinata Sacinandana Dev ki jai. Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Shalgram Shila ki jai. Shri Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Founder Acharya ki jai. So thank you all for coming and joining us. I think last week was sunny. Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to? You can sit on the bench if that's easier for you. You can stand also, no problem. Last week, we had rain. We had clear skies, but very cold. And this week, I think coming week is rainy but warmer. So it's a material world, right? It goes both ways. So anybody's here for the very first time? Okay. Everybody, we're amongst friends. Okay. Please bring your friends next time. Thank you very much. So can we see the email for the announcements, please? Prabhu? No. Maharaj's itinerary, please. So I'm just going to go by time sequence. So, very, very important announcements today. If you can take the kartal away from the child, please. Okay? Okay. Was that Rasraj playing? Hare Krishna, Rasraj. So we have an upcoming visit of His Holiness Rampad Swami Maharaj. He's been here since 2003, before most of us were even part of the temple. And he's been coming since 2001 to ISKCON temples. So Maharaj is having a visit this coming week, starting Tuesday through Sunday. And temple email went out with the list. Anybody here not get the temple email? Are you signed up? So there's a little magenta book here, 3-ring binder, and you can put your name and email ID and you will get all the information. So there are going to be home programs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a temple program here, Sunday feast like usual, and then a home program Sunday evening. So you can get absorbed in katha, hearing the shastra and the pastimes of the Lord. So, and in particular, the focus is going to be on lessons from the Ramayana. A little while back, Maharaj had spoken about the personalities of Ramayana, all the famous personalities that we know of. This is going to be about the lessons from the Ramayana. So, Ramayana is, filled with instructive guidance on how to live in this material world. And I've had a preview of the topics, and they're very, very wonderful. So please join. You can come in, Prabhu. You can come sit. So a humble request is, since devotees are opening up their homes for visiting devotees, a nice thing would be to respond and let there's emails and, can you scroll up? There's, like, for example, first day, Tuesdays, Ananya Mataji and Sukumar Prabhu. Ananya Mataji is here. I don't know Sukumar. Can you raise your hand, Mataji? So, it'll be easier for them to plan if they know how many are coming and make sure there's adequate spacing and sitting. Okay. The contact details are there. Next day, Wednesday, December 6th. I don't see Parul Mataji. Parul Mataji? I don't know. It's at her and Jagdish Prabhu's home. And so there's contact info and there's RSVP info. And then Thursday, on December 7th, is Premrupa Madhavi Mataji. I see Ras Raj. So she's outside, I think, distributing cakes. And so contact them, let them know. Friday is Madhura Mataji. Everybody know who's Madhura Mataji, right? She's in the back. She's there. And the family, and she's also serving in the child protection team very nicely. I think Madhusudan Prabhu, you're back. Okay. So can you raise your hands, Madhusudan Prabhu and Mother Mataji? Their home, if you can respond, that would be nice. Let them know you're coming. And then December 9th, for those of you that are willing to go to Corvallis, how many of you have heard of the 9 processes of bhakti? I see people who are like going for initiation. Raise your hand. How many of you have heard? Okay. So this is 9 processes of bhakti from the heart. So it will be a very special presentation in Corvallis. So please go there and support them because they come up here 60 miles or whatever it is often. And then on the Saturday the 9th, is Ashutosh Prabhu here? Ashutosh Prabhu, thank you for raising your hand. Shilpa Mataji is there in spirit, but she physically will be in India. So Ashutosh Prabhu is inviting devotees to his home at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday for a program on Lessons of Ramayana. And then Sunday, December 10th, there's a little melody there. On Sunday, December 10th at 11:30, Sunday feast, right here. And then December 10th at 5 p.m. is Vidagdha Madha Prabhu. He's back here. And his good wife, Kirtida Mataji, there, Hare Krishna. So it's a 1-year anniversary of their deities being welcomed to their home. So they would like to celebrate it with all of you. So kindly just give RSVP. Okay? So the focus is going to be lessons from Ramayana. Very instructive. I think beneficial for anybody and everyone. So there'll be there'll be Kirtan, Krishna Katha, Ram Katha, and there'll be Prasadam, of course. Okay? Okay, any questions on this? And Prabhu, you can write your name here in that book, okay? You can write your name there and your email ID. Okay, so pretty clear there. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. And for this, whoops. Okay, so the next announcement is volunteer sign up. Vidagdha Madha Prabhu, Damodar Leela Mataji, and all the other devotees have been doing lots to kind of make some systematic, sign-ups. So this is, do you want to click on it, maybe? Are you able to click on your phone? So this is a sign up where you can sign up for seva opportunities. All temples are places to allow people to do seva. Like for example, today there's a team that does cooking, and so they had 2 volunteers. They're looking for 4, but 2 came. That's great. There's a group of devotees who serve prasadam. It doesn't just magically fly from the bucket into somebody's plate. Somebody has to serve. So far, nobody signed up for that. Okay. And then there's a team that's supposed to clean kitchen and prasadam hall, and that hasn't been signed. Cleaning is usually the hardest thing for devotees to agree to do. But it's a nice thing. It's very nice. Even His Grace Ayendra Prabhu, how many of you know Ayendra Prabhu or have heard of him? Ayendra Prabhu used to put on his rubber gloves and take the brahmacharis and say, okay, time to go clean the bathrooms in the ISKCON temple. Let's do it. Not just once, but every week. So that's important. And he could have said, hey, I'm the worldwide current practicing namacharya, but he didn't. That humility was there. So please help. We're contemplating moving to not contemplating, we're seriously committing to moving to a bigger facility, but it won't work if the congregation doesn't come and help with this, because we need help for such services, okay? And I think most of you probably don't even know about the existence of this form, although we've sent it, but there's probably information overload. But like we said today, part of accepting Krishna's will is to do internal and external activities that will please Bhagavan. Hare Krishna. So, part of that's also doing things that are maybe against our nature. We feel it's unclean to clean the bathroom, etc. And just tell yourself that's a material thought. Spiritually, that's not the basis of spiritual advancement. Everybody cleans at their home, so here you clean in a bigger facility. So everybody can do that. Everybody can help remove garbage. Everybody can clean the hallways, do a little brooming, mopping. Why not? I can guarantee you that I remember when in 2005, 2006, we moved from a small center to a bigger center, and I was trying to paint the ceiling, which is 40, 50 feet high, with a very long paint handle, and who walks in? Madhav Ganga Prabhu, who used to be, walked in, and I said, Hare Krishna. He said, Hare Krishna. I said, is this the first time here? He said, yeah. I said, how can I help you? He said, I just want to help in some way. Do you need help? I said, yeah. Grab this handle with me, I will paint the ceiling. So people become devotees through that process of heartfelt service, okay? Madhav Ganga Prabhu ki jai. So that's the process for every one of us. Okay? So just a kind of background, but something that we need. Without that, purchasing a big land, running a center, you need participation, right? Correct? Govardhan Prabhu? You need participation to do that. He has personal experience. He's a businessman. That you need participation. For volunteer activities, even more, because the incentive is spiritual. It's not somebody's going to give me a paycheck. It's voluntary. Okay. I need for the children at this point to kind of quiet down if they're going to speak. Crying is, of course, fine. It's natural nature of children. But, okay. So now we're going to show how many, well, I won't ask this kind of weird question. It can be confusing. So this is the flyer for it's on our website for our, maybe you can zoom out, because you're zooming in, it won't be able to. So it's a flyer that can be made available to each and every one of you electronically as well as soft copy. I've had devotees from other parts of the country. Even our dear friend Acharya Nishtha Prabhu called me and said, hey, what's going on? I heard about this. When's it going up? And so, people are excited because they have connection. So this is announcing to one and all that we're purchasing land in Bethany. How many of you don't know what Bethany is? Does anybody? So Bethany is a neighborhood in the junction between Portland and Hillsborough. It's where most of the, I would say 97% or so of the congregation comes from that locale. So the idea is to bring the temple closer to where the vast majority of our congregation is, so that people can have the temple be part of their day-to-day lives. In India, temples aren't 100 miles away. In Delhi, there's a temple in every single block. So people can, integrate that into their day-to-day life. So the idea is to put up a 20,000 square foot structure in a 4-acre lot. And what will we have? What do we offer to the community of Bethany, but also to everyone else, not just Bethany, that we offer an opportunity to have a relationship with Bhagwan and his devotees. And in that way bring, peace, happiness, and fulfillment into our existence. How? Well, we're going to, of course, have our beautiful Shishinathai Sacinandana deities, and hope to eventually have Radha Krishna deities. We have them. And of course, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. And then we will have a wonderful temple hall that will be bigger than this to accommodate more people, because people will come. When you put a temple up next to thousands and thousands of homes, people will come. I've seen that in communities like Seattle, Denver, Houston, Chicago, etc. People will come in hundreds, very rapidly. So we need a bigger space for gatherings. We'll have a bigger prasadam hall, community hall, because people in community want to do their birthday celebration, their wedding anniversary, etc. Child graduates. Then they have a place to come in and do that under the blessings of the Lord. We're hoping to also be able to do catering of food items, etc. Somebody has a program at home that they want to have. They have some friends over and they don't want to cook. They want to have, sattvic prasadam. They can come and purchase that. We'll have priests that can do samskaras, pujas, etc. We will always, because of Srila Prabhupada's desire, we will always have study of the Shastras. Srila Prabhupada came only with the Bhagavatam, so it's very important. We'll have that. We'll try to create nice conference rooms. We'll have space where people who want to teach Telugu or Tamil or Sanskrit or dance, they can do that also. And then, of course, our Sunday feast festivals. Srila Prabhupada instituted that at every temple in the world. So we will do that. So the goal of the project is... Oh, what happened? Tough taking care of twins. So the goal is to accumulate $5 million. We need $1 million by mid-January 2024. Why? Because we have to close on the purchase of the land. The land is in Bethany. It's not an inexpensive piece of land, but for that we're getting approximately 4 acres. That's quite a lot of space in Bethany. So we need that because the builder, the construction company that owns the land will not give us the land if we don't pay for the land. Pretty simple. So by mid-January, we hope to get $1 million. And then to put up a temple, we need to accumulate funds for that. The 20,000 square foot temple will cost, millions of dollars. It may come underneath or it may come over, don't know, but we'll plan for that. Okay. So, but the immediate need is to raise $1 million by mid-Jan, so 2024, this coming year, so we can purchase the land. Eventually, once we purchase the land, we'll seriously start, hiring architects and engineers and people who know what they're doing for building and come up with a plan and put something up. The idea is eventually, because some people have asked me, the idea eventually is to sell this building and move everything to the new space, but we can't do that until we have a new space. So how quickly we do it depends on how quickly congregation and the community and businesses donate. Pretty simple math. Okay? So we can keep scrolling. Next, please. This is a donation form. It's a pledge form. If you go into our website, you can see it. So it allows you to pledge like by square feet, by money that you feel you want to donate, etc. So you can pick that. Can you scroll? So for each square feet, 1 square foot is $1,001, etc. And then it kind of goes in multiples. And then we need a target date, when you're going to pledge. A pledge means I'm going to come through, not just I write $1 million and don't come through. That won't help. We need real money, not monopoly money for this one. And you can make donation, you can make it via Zelle, PayPal, credit card, check, Benevity. A lot of you, how many of you work for Intel, Nike, Salesforce? Can you raise your hand? I know there are a lot more people than that work for Intel and Salesforce and all that. So we can do matching for them. The requirement of professional organizations like these companies is that their fund, they're going to match their employees' fund. But they require that fund only go to cultural, non-religious activity. Like you cannot get a garland for the deities from Intel. And we don't want to either. You can't get dresses for the deities from them. But that's fine. There's something for us to do too, right? Like Srila Prabhupada said. When people asked him, why did Bhaktivinoda Thakur not do this and that? Srila Prabhupada said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur left something for us to do. So we can contribute, those that don't work at Intel, etc. But those of you that work at Intel, Nike, Google, Salesforce, etc., and other organizations, you can donate and the company will match to a certain amount. And we will use those funds strictly for quote-unquote, non-religious activity. Okay? Anonymous, and that's fine. And some devotees, they're fine, indicating their names. So you can indicate yes or no in that form. But we want participation, not just suggestions. Sideline coaching is nice, but participation is need of the hour. Okay? Can you go? And then we're going to show you. He's loading. So there's a QR code there, right in there. And if you have camera and you want to take the QR code, you can do that right now. And it'll let you do it. Okay? All right? But the website also has it. Please go and contribute whatever you can. Because without your participation, it will not happen. Your son is telling you to scan the QR code. Huh? Good job. From the mouth of babes. Okay? So we want to show you what the pledges are. And we divide it into bins, just because it's easier than me announcing, 100 people. So for up to $1,000 is Bhaskar Singh Prabhu. Is Bhaskar Prabhu here? VG Mataji. I don't see. Shrikar Valuri. He's the son of Radhakund Mataji. Dhiraj. Dhiraj is, I think I saw Prabhu here. Okay. Okay. And then Vinod Kulkarni. If your name is there, then please raise your hand. Narayani Mataji. Aditi Mohan. Vaishnavi Konka. Gaurav Talang, and Anonymous. So those are up to 1,000. Go ahead. Next one. From $1,000 to 5,000 is Swapna Mataji, Narayan Bhagirath Tota, Chandrasekhar Akula, Parul Mataji, Gauranga Priya Devi Dasi, Chandan Kundapur, Subhash Prabhu and Alka Mataji, Lakshmi Prasad Mataji, or Lakshmi Prasad Shravana Bhoyana Bheshta, Shri Murari Das Prabhu, Umar Reddy, Pratip Kumar Chakravarti Rajshekhar, Vedavati Mataji, our dear friend Vedavati Mataji, Sri Ram Tattapudi. So Vedavati Mataji is a senior Srila Prabhupada disciple. How does she earn money? She's single. She gives care to people at their home. She's a caregiver. And for her, $1,000 is a lot of money. For us, working at Intel, Nike, Salesforce, having wife and kids, if that person can do that, we should think about ourselves. Okay, next one. From 5,000 to 10,000, Badrinayan Prabhu is here. Aditi Chauhan Prabhu, or Mataji. Gagan Kangovi Prabhu. Subhash Chandra Vyas family. Wow. Ashish Prabhu? Where is he? From India? Nice. So Ashish Prabhu engaged himself, his family, and family in India to come across with that money. Wonderful. People in India love giving to temples. Why? Because they have the culture of that. Sridhar Singham Prabhu, I saw Sridhar Prabhu. Sridhar Prabhu, thank you for your kind donation. Okay, so those are 5 to 10,000, and then next, 10,000 to 20,000. Narottam Vilas Prabhu and Prem Rupa Madhavi Mataji, I think she's outside. She's also baked a bunch of treats that people can purchase that will also go towards this. Radhe Sham, there's a Radhe Sham Prabhu. This is anonymous Radhe Sham. Hopefully from the desire of Shishi Radhe Sham Sundar, we'll have Vrindavan manifest here. Our good, wonderful devotee who's getting married, Chandrasekhar Prabhu and Harshita Mataji. Our sweet devotee, Jai Nitai Prabhu and Priyam Mataji. I don't see Jai Nitai Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And Ovia and Anirudh, right, Ovia? They worked very hard on that flyer. The flyers they're designed. Spent a lot of time working on that. And then we have a couple of anonymous. And then we have Ashutosh Prabhu and Shilpa Mataji. He's back there. So that's 10,000 to 20,000. Can you go? And then 20,000 to 35,000 is Parmakaran Prabhu and Damodar Lila Mataji and Gopal and Ram. And then Rahul Prabhu and Richa Thakur Mataji. Richa Mataji, I see you here. I think Rahul Prabhu told me he's coming tomorrow, right? Thank you very much. Madhusudan Prabhu and Madhura Mataji, they're both here. Thank you very much. A lot of responsibilities, but still helping. Vanmali Prabhu and Sumukhi Radha Mataji. Vidagda Madha Prabhu and Kirtida Mataji. That's nice. And then above 35,000, Pavamana Prabhu and Diksha Mataji and Nitya and myself and Bhakti Rasa and my mother Gaurangi Devi Dasi and Arpana. So this is not to kind of like put people on the spot. This is, can you go back to the like 1,000? This is to encourage. You can see that just in 1 week how many people have contributed. A fair amount, right? Our goal is to have everybody who comes here, because for us to go to a community and say, can you contribute? They're saying, what's your congregation doing? Congregation has to do something. You know? So if you go out and hand a flyer to somebody saying, please donate, the first thing they'll ask is, did you donate? Like if Srila Prabhupada is asking us to chant, first thing somebody will say, if he's never chanting, he's like, really? I never see you chanting. So we have to put our skin in the game, so to speak. So that's the idea. And then the idea is to stretch yourself. Arjun had to stretch himself. Parikshit Maharaj had to stretch himself. Jatayu had to stretch himself. Bharat Maharaj, Lakshman, Lord Ram's brother, had to stretch himself. So stretch yourself. Srila Prabhupada, I was told by a senior sannyasi that Srila Prabhupada said, Krishna consciousness is not about hovering in one space. Krishna consciousness is taking risk for Krishna. Krishna is not a poor man. He has everything. But he wants to see the effort we make. So take risk. Go from 1,000 to 1,000 to 5,000. I've seen devotees who are out of jobs take a loan and donate $50,000 for temple construction. I've personally seen that. And that person did not lose out as a result. So this is the magical thermometer that everybody talks about. So the top of the thermometer, the blowing off point where the volcano of bhakti will erupt, is at the very top at 5 million. But there's like this big 1 million, which is what we need for land by like mid-Jan. And thus far we've raised, due to the kind and generous donations of devotees, $370,345 in 1 week. Haribo! Haribo! Just to give you a sense of that, I remember when we were at the old temple, Paramahansa was a treasurer and I was serving. It took us, I think, about half a year to raise $250,000. So because of you, this is happening. So please donate generously, extend yourself. No amount is too small. This is Mega Mataji and others came up with this little one quick board that they have here. So it shows a thermometer and it shows the pledges, 40 pledges so far, more than 35,000, 20 to 35, 10 to 20, less than 5,000 is like 22. We need for that less than 5,000 to come up, if you can. So, okay, any questions on what I've shown so far? Pretty clear? Okay. Please do what you can. So since the temple is going to go up in Bethany, yes? Was there a question?
Yes, if we do a pledge and bring in a check, should we give it to you?
Yes, you can do that. ISKCON Hillsboro. So, is that okay? Okay. So, since the community is in Bethany, do you want to come up? You can make this, you can speak this. Since the temple will be in Bethany, so we're going to go explicitly door to door in Bethany. But 2 people can't do it, right? I mean, it's a big community. So we need devotees who live in Bethany or even outside Bethany can go there too, to kind of go over different areas. So the thought, you can explain the thought, etc.
Hare Krishna. So we all live in communities. All of us have neighbors, and then we have WhatsApp groups. They know us, and that way we felt like when we kind of go to our neighbors and next door to door and share it with our groups, community groups, it is much effective way of raising this. So what we came up with is that because Bethany is very organized, it has developed in the last 15 to 20 years, and it has been typically created by communities. Like, for example, me and Ashutosh Prabhu, we live in Noise Highlands. It's a very, very close-knit community. Even an emergency vehicle enters the community, immediately the WhatsApp group is full of messages, and then everybody says what's going on. So that's how active the community is. Likewise, I have seen that there is a lot of communities that are there within Bethany. I took an initial shot at creating these communities. It doesn't have to be in Bethany, but it can be also outside of Bethany, a little bit nearby, like for example, the Bower Heights or the Reeds Crossings, Forest Heights, the areas that are surrounding to Bethany. Right now, we do not have even a single temple in Bethany. So we felt like when you're having a temple right in the center of Bethany, there is a lot more interest in people to kind of come and contribute. So we have created this community champion.
We'll
provide you all the necessary things that we are going to, you have to go and talk to your community members. So you can reach out to me or Ashutosh Prabhu, can you raise your hand? So either one of us and Sridhar Singham Prabhu. In fact, Sridhar Singham Prabhu, please raise your hand. Sridhar Singham Prabhu said that yesterday he was able to convince 3 people to donate just because they were living in the community, right? Just going and then talking to them for 5 minutes, he was able to convince them and make a pledge to this. So I know there are people who are coming from Kemas, from Vancouver and other places as well. So we can extend this list. This is just a first cut. And then, so please reach out to us or any one of our volunteer team to kind of include your name as a community champion and then conduct this promotion. If I can go to the next slide. So we are not just limiting it to the households in the community. We are also wanting to go to the community's local businesses. It could be like corporations like a Kroger or QFC or a Safeway, or it could be those local businesses that are there. And when there is a temple that comes to the community's value itself goes up, right? Both spiritually and materially. So we are creating, and this is a draft, but then we will kind of create a benefits package for the business owners as well. The businesses, local businesses who are present in those communities. And then there are various opportunities that they can benefit out of contributing to the temple as well. So please come forward and then enroll yourself as a community champion. And we have a large team that will support you to kind of take this campaign forward. Nitai Sacinandana. Thank you, Prabhuji.
How about a Haribol for that? Srila Prabhupada said that to spread the movement requires organization and intelligence. So you can see that somebody sat there and a group of devotees and figured out, okay, well, we need to subdivide Bethany because 2 people can't do it, and we need to tell them how we can help them. We're not going to sell them something. We're trying to tell them how the temple will help them. And how can we tell the business organizations how the temple will help them, etc. And like Badri Prabhu said, just having a temple within the community will immediately increase the value of every home in that, because everybody, at least from India that comes, will want a home in that area immediately. So, that's immediate return on investment, right? So I think that's it, right? I'm sorry that announcements took a long time. We're not in a desperate situation. Srila Prabhupada said Krishna is the wealthiest person in the universe, and Krishna has funds. Our desperation is to engage everybody in the congregation to participate to whatever capacity they have. But participate in some way. Srila Prabhupada, when he was in New York City, down and out, homeless person walked in and put in the middle of Srila Prabhupada's class, it's a famous pastime, and brought in a couple of rolls of toilet paper and bowed down physically and then left. And Srila Prabhupada said, just see, the propensity to serve is so natural for everybody. So he did to his capacity, and Srila Prabhupada appreciated. So Krishna, we're not begging, we're offering an opportunity, but we have a timeline that we have to follow. Okay? Okay, we'll have prasadam. Oh, Mataji, Demadali Mataji, you want? Okay. Okay. So this represents a lot of work by devotees over the past several weeks, non-stop. So there's a fundraising team. There's also a construction team. Construction doesn't occur until fundraising occurs. So that's the way it goes. So if you want to be part of the fundraising team, share ideas and thoughts, then at 2:30 here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is just getting going. Eventually we're going to have people like Ashutosh Prabhu and Badri Prabhu and Sridhar Singha Prabhu walking around with clipboards saying, hey, which part of Bethany are you staying at, or which community do you stay at? Do you mind being a champion for that community, right? We're selling Krishna. We're giving them Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. You want to? Camus, you're the champion. Thank you for volunteering. Let's do, well, next week, we'll talk about it offline. Is there a time? This is something that every temple in North America has to do and is trying to do, which is child protection. We want all the children from little to teenagers to be protected, to be safe, that they're not going to get hurt mentally, physically, or in any other such way. And others, the helpless, the seniors, the ladies, etc. And so there are certain requirements for child protection. There has to be a team, and there is. And there has to be background checks for those of us that are doing service, criminal and other background checks. And we have to participate in online education to take care of our children. So Mataji is giving me a kind reminder. She actually sent me a reminder earlier this week with a bunch of important videos. But I think we're not going to cancel it, but you and I can talk afterwards about when we can do, okay? Okay. Anything else? Anyone else? Mega Mataji? Huh? The temple's birthday will occur in February 29th. Whose birthdays? My birthday. Yeah, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We also, Shri Shanatai Sacinandana Ki Jai. We also have the birthday of His Grace Kyan Prabhu. Bhakta Kyan, he's outside. He looks the most comfortable. He's wearing the one-piece jumper. The onesie. Oh, there he is. You can see him in the back. Haribol, Kiyu. Okay. Very sweet baby. Any other birthdays that I'm forgetting? Anniversaries? Yes. Madhav's birthday. Where is he? No, I know that's Dheeraj, but he's independent. How old is he now? 4 years. I think he's helping you more now, no? He's trying to be helpful. Yeah. Yes. So let's wish Madhav, Bhakta Madhav, a happy birthday with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Anyone else? I think I saw them. Mataji had to step out with them, right? They're very cute. One was crying, another was happy. Krishna's blessings, rather than stereo crying. Okay, so their birthday was when? 27 October, a month ago. Wonderful. And you're sponsoring today's Sunday feast. Thank you very much. Jai. Thank you very much. Let's wish them with a happy birthday, belated happy birthday with a loud Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Yes. Prabhu, happy second year wedding anniversary, right? So Prabhu and Mataji celebrated their second wedding anniversary on Friday, right? Was the actual auspicious day. So let's wish. I'll come back to you, Parnika. Is it a birthday or an anniversary? Okay. In a second. So Prabhu and Mataji's anniversary with a loud Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So Prabhu, right now it's easy for you to remember the number of years. Damodar Krishna Prabhu. Right now you'll remember the number of years. We'll see in 10 years. Hari Bol. Parnika? December 7th is His Holiness Sri Srimad Radhanath Maharaj's birthday. Are you invited to the birthday party? No. We can pray for him and have a birthday party in our homes, and he has some very wonderful disciples here where we can congratulate them on the appearance day of such an auspicious sadhu. So congratulations to one and all. Okay, I think that's it, right? Oh. Do you have something to announce? Oh, okay. You're announcing well in advance. You look very happy. It looks like your mom knows what you want, right? Yep, I know that. Okay, congratulations to you. Okay, anyone else? No. Okay, so we'll have prasadam prayers, and then you can all go up and honor prasadam. Those that want to be part of the fundraising group, please come here by 2:30. Okay, I think prasadam is ready for Sarva.